Hi guys, how are you today? Welcome back to my channel Adventures in America. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jocelyn, and for today's topic, I'm going to provide you the latest travel restrictions in the Philippines. Now, if you're flying before the end of this month and you have a confirmed booking or flight and you wanted to share your travel experience, please share your travel experience below in the comments section. I would really appreciate it. Please take note that the Philippines is not yet open for international tourism and foreign tourists are not yet allowed entry. Please take note that because of the Omicron variant, the Philippines is imposing travel ban against several countries. So all of these countries included in the travel ban, or what they call the red list countries, you cannot enter the Philippines if you have been in these countries in the last 14 days. I will discuss later on the exceptions to the travel ban. Now, the Philippine government imposed a travel ban against these countries starting December 16 to the 31st. Please remember, the travel ban changes every 15 days. Now, these are the list of countries included in the travel ban. So if you have been in these countries in the last 14 days, you will be barred entry in the Philippines. So it doesn't matter if you are fully vaccinated, you will be barred entry. Now, the Bureau of Immigration announced that there are exceptions to the travel ban. These are Filipino and foreign diplomats arriving from red list countries. Now, those covered by the exemption are Philippine officials and their delegations, Philippine diplomats and their dependents returning to the Philippines at the end of their tour of duty, and other Philippine delegation. Now, the inbound international travel of all persons, regardless of vaccination status, coming from or who have been to red list countries in the last 14 days prior to arrival to any port of the Philippines shall not be allowed. There are only several countries, but the Philippine government could add more countries in the coming days. However, if you are a Filipino returning to the country via government-initiated repatriation, or you are under the Bayanihan flights, you may be allowed to enter, but you will have to undergo strict quarantine protocols. Now, for those vaccinated, negative 72-hour test. You will also have facility-based quarantine, and then the swabbing will be on 7th day. Now, for unvaccinated, negative test for 72 hours. Now, mandatory 10-day facility-based quarantine, 7th day swabbing, and home quarantine until the 14th day. Now, for all of you who are asking if there's still quarantine, the answer is yes. All eligible passengers to the Philippines must quarantine depending on your vaccination status. It will be shorter quarantine for those vaccinated and longer quarantine for unvaccinated. Also, there are new rules for negative COVID tests, such as the 72-hour test for those children 3 years old and below, and they are now exempted from the negative 72-hour test from the country of origin. Now, if you have children traveling with you and they are 3 years old and below, and they are showing COVID symptoms, 72-hour negative test prior to departure from the country of origin. Now, if you have connecting flights to the Philippines, for example, you will be going to Cebu, but you will go to the Manila airport first, you will have to quarantine at the Manila area before flying or before going to your next flight. Now, the Philippine government returned the Greenlane country protocols for eligible passengers. There are now several countries included in the Greenlane countries. Here are the Greenlane countries. Please remember, you must be in the Greenlane country in the last 14 days. Now, here are the strict protocols for all fully vaccinated eligible passengers from Greenlane countries. First, you must have a 72-hour negative test prior to departure from the country of origin. In addition, upon arrival, you will undergo a quarantine with a 3rd-day RT-PCR test until release of negative test, and self-quarantine up to the 10th day of arrival. There are some changes. Now, for unvaccinated eligible passengers, here are the protocols. Again, you will have 72-hour negative test prior to departure from country of origin. If you are unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, or the vaccination cannot be verified, there are strict protocols starting December 16 until the end of December. I'm just going to repeat. You will have to undergo facility-based quarantine up to the 7th day, and pre-booked hotel must be for 8 days. Your RT-PCR test will be on the 7th day of your arrival, and home quarantine until the 14th day of arrival. Now, here are the protocols for minor children. The testing and quarantine protocols shall follow the testing and quarantine protocols of parent or guardian, regardless of minor's vaccination status and country of origin. Please remember, only accredited hotels of Department of Tourism are accepted, and you can find this under the quarantine facility list under the One Health Pass. For all overseas Filipino workers, documented and undocumented OFWs, you can find the OWA accredited list under the quarantine facility list hotels of the One Health Pass website. So you must register at Red Cross ECIF or Dash Lab. These are only for overseas Filipino workers. Now, those arriving at NAIA must quarantine within Metro Manila only. So if you arrive in different ports of entry, you must only quarantine within that designated area only. Now, the Philippine government reverted to yellow list protocols effective December 16. If you are found positive, you will be prescribed the isolation protocol, and upon completion of quarantine, you will be issued a quarantine certificate indicating the individual's vaccination status. Please remember, all other countries not included in the red list or green list will be in the yellow list. So most passengers will be following the yellow list protocols. For example, US passengers, Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia, you are under the yellow list protocols. Now, for fully vaccinated eligible passengers, you will have a 72-hour negative test prior to departure from the country of origin. Also, upon arrival, the quarantine facility will be 5 days, and then your swab test will be on the 5th day. Home quarantine will be done up to the 14th day of your arrival. Now, if you are unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, or vaccination cannot be verified, you will also be required a 72-hour negative test prior to departure from the country of origin. Upon arrival, you shall undergo 7 days of hotel quarantine and then home quarantine up to the 14th day of arrival after release. For minor children, the testing and quarantine protocols shall follow the quarantine protocols of their parent or guardian, regardless of vaccination status and country of origin. Only accredited hotels of Department of Tourism are accepted. You will find this under the quarantine facility list if you go to the One Health Pass website. Now, all eligible passengers, Filipinos, former Filipinos, dual citizens, and foreign nationals with valid and existing visa, all of you must quarantine at a facility-based hotel, or the hotel must be accredited by the Department of Tourism. There are actually rules for pre-booking a hotel as well. Now, let's talk about who are the only eligible passengers or those who are allowed to enter the Philippines. You needed to present your proof of Filipino citizenship, such as a Philippine passport. However, there are Filipinos whose passport has been lost, damaged, or expired. There is actually a relief or a remedy, so Filipinos without Philippine passport can travel to the Philippines by obtaining a travel document from Philippine Consulate abroad for emergency use. Please remember that this travel document is only allowed for applicants who cannot be issued a Philippine passport and have an emergency travel to the Philippines, such as due to medical or legal reasons or death in the family. This is only a one-time use travel document, and it's only good for 30 days from its issuance. So this is only a one-way ticket to the Philippines, and if you needed a Philippine passport, you must apply once you arrive in the Philippines. Another set of passengers are dual citizens. Dual citizens are Filipinos who have acquired a foreign citizenship and at the same time reacquired Filipino citizenship. You actually have two options. If you don't have your Philippine passport, you can present your dual citizenship documents. Another type of passengers are former Filipinos. These are Filipinos who have been naturalized in a foreign country. That means that your Filipino citizenship is renounced upon foreign naturalization. In addition, former Filipinos in possession of Philippine passport becomes void because you are no longer a Filipino. Another important information to remember is that former Filipinos can still travel to the Philippines through the Balikbayan visa. If you are a former Filipino and you still have a valid Philippine passport, does that make you a dual citizen? The answer is no. Former Filipinos who are in possession of an expired or valid Philippine passport after becoming a foreign citizen does not make you a dual citizen. Please remember this. There is actually a special privilege granted to former Filipinos. Former Filipinos can travel to the Philippines through the Balikbayan visa program, and you can avail this visa upon arrival in the Philippines. In addition, Balikbayan visa is free and you must proceed to Yellowlane upon arrival at the immigration. You need to ask immigration that you will be availing of Balikbayan visa. Also, in addition, you will be granted Balikbayan visa, which is valid for 1 year upon arrival in the Philippines. Now, former Filipinos can travel alone or with family members such as a spouse or children. Now, if a former Filipino will be traveling together with foreign spouse or foreign children, both spouse or children can avail of Balikbayan visa and stay in Philippines visa-free for 1 year. The foreign spouse or foreign children traveling together with former Filipino must have a return or onward ticket. Also, foreign spouse or children must have a valid passport for at least 6 months and beyond. Now, here are the immigration entry requirements for former Filipinos. Your foreign passport plus your Philippine passport, old or valid, or your foreign passport and authentic birth certificate, or your foreign passport plus naturalization certificate, or if adopted, your foreign passport and your certificate of adoption. Now, for former Filipinos or Filipinos traveling with their foreign spouse, the foreign spouse must present their foreign passport plus authentic marriage certificate. If traveling with a foreign child, foreign passport plus authentic birth certificate. For adopted child, foreign passport plus adoption certificate. Now, let's talk about another set of eligible passengers. Foreign spouse not traveling with Filipino spouse. And I mean these are native foreign spouse, not former Filipinos. You must have a 9A visa. from a Philippine consulate, and your passport must be valid for at least 6 months and beyond. You must also have a return or onward ticket. In addition, the Filipino spouse must be in the Philippines at the time of your intended travel. Now, what are the immigration requirements for a foreign spouse? First, you must present an authentic marriage certificate. The immigration will not accept copies or fake documents. Now, let's talk about native foreign parent with Filipino child in Philippines. First, you must have a valid 9A visa, and second, passport must be valid for at least 6 months and beyond, and third, you must have a return or onward ticket. In addition, the Filipino child must be in the Philippines at the time of your intended travel. Now, what are the entry requirements for foreign parent with Filipino child in the Philippines? First, you must have an authentic birth certificate of the child to prove filiation. Otherwise, you will not be allowed entry. Always present authentic or original documents to the immigration. Now, there's another set of passengers who are temporary visitors to the Philippines. There was a press release from the Bureau of Immigration issued on October 5th, and it provided the guidelines for temporary visitors. However, there are strict requirements, and Philippine consulates abroad won't issue visas for temporary visitors. You must have a 9A visa and an entry exemption document, which is impossible to obtain. In addition, the reasons must be for business, for humanitarian, and for meritorious reasons. But I haven't seen anyone granted this visa. Now, here are the foreign nationals who are allowed to travel, but you must have a valid and existing visa. First, Special Resident Retirees Visa or holders of SRRV visa. The SRRV visa can be applied at the Philippines under the Philippine Retirement Authority. Other set of foreign nationals allowed are holders of Philippine immigrant visas, holders of a 13A, 13B, 13C, 13D, 13E, and 13G visas. Other set of foreign nationals allowed are accredited foreign government and international organization officials and their dependents. Another set of passengers are foreign airline crew members. Another set of passengers allowed are foreign seafarers with 9C visa. Now, here are the standard health protocols for all eligible passengers to the Philippines. Now, all passengers must have a 72-hour negative test prior to departure from the country of origin. The exceptions are children 3 years old and below unless symptomatic. The other standard health protocols are you must have a One Health Pass registration if you are going to Manila, Clark, Davao, Lawag, Bohol, and Subic. Also, the case investigation form is dependent on the traveler type and port of entry. Pre-booked hotel for 6 days for vaccinated and 8 days for unvaccinated. Also, you can find the quarantine facility list at the One Health Pass. Also, mandatory registration to One Health Pass. I'm going to repeat that information again. Now, use the Traze Mobile Application to generate and scan the QR code when entering or boarding or upon arrival in all Philippine airports. Also, if you are a Philippine airline passenger, you must fill out the passenger information form 24 hours before flight or PAL ECIF 5 days before departure. Now, if you are flying through the foreign airline, you must register to the padlab.ph for COVID testing. In addition, you must also wear a face mask and a face shield. Now, let's talk about the procedure when you arrive at your hotel. Now, here are the protocols at the quarantine facility. First, you must present your One Health Pass QR code at the hotel to confirm check-in. Now, for day 3, day 5, or day 7, you must present your QR code for RT-PCR test. And then step 3 is to register for ECIF and pay for the swab test. Now, for step 4, while waiting for the results, coordinate with the local government unit for additional requirements. Now, if you test negative, you will need to present your QR code and BOQ certificate at hotel reception for check-out. Now, if you test positive, you will be subjected to medical management or hospital admission. Thank you guys for supporting my channel, and if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I always welcome new subscribers. Now, if you have any other questions or comments, please post them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys for watching. I hope everyone is staying safe and have a great day.